So my kids have had a lot of hobbies. When they were really little, it was things like Blaze and the Monster Machines and Team Umizoomi, dinosaurs, superheroes, and then it moved on to some things that were more interesting, like armadillos. If you have never looked up pink fairy armadillos, I highly recommend it. And then we got into stuff like space. Planets, actually pretty boring compared to like all the other stuff in our solar system. Like, it is amazing. The moons that are on Saturn or Neptune or Uranus, even the fact that like Pluto has red snow. Some of the things that are just considered space objects are really cool. And then when you get into looking at the other solar systems and that there's like a place with like 3 planets in the Goldilocks zones, it is amazing. And I never would have looked into it if it hadn't been for my kids. And, you know, they get older and older, their interests change. My son went through a phase where he was like really into flags and into world geography. And I learned so much that I never would have known that Nepal had the only non-rectangular flag of all the flags out there, or countries I didn't even know existed. But I did because my son was into it, and so I became into it with him. Now my son is almost 11 and my daughter's 8, and so they're really big into gaming. Minecraft, mainly the platform Roblox and everything that comes with it, Dress to Impress, Grow a Garden, 99 Nights. And it's suddenly gone to a place that's really hard for me to follow because, like, I'm not really a gamer. But I download them on my phone and I play with them. And I do this because they're my kids. And, you know, today I was with somebody who was saying like, oh, I can't understand what's the AFK mean, all this vocab, all this stuff. Like, I can't communicate with this and stuff. And I said, well, like, how about I download it on your phone? I said, no. We'll talk about other stuff. Okay, well, you're the grown-up, they're the kids. If you want them to be interested in things that you're passionate about, if you want to share stuff with them, then you should take an interest in what they're into. Also, in terms of your relationship with your kids, if you don't take an active interest in what they're into, how are you going to bond? You know, how are you going to have a really deep relationship with your kids and get them to listen to all the wisdom and advice and things that are out there if you're not actively involved? And, you know, for me, it's also been really interesting because they're on YouTube all the time. Not really my thing. I admit in the beginning, I was kind of concerned of like, you know, YouTube is going to radicalize your child. And I thought, oh God, what are they going to learn here? Like, they're going to be turned into white supremacists. What is going on? But instead, like, you know, they've actually learned some pretty cool things. Like my son on his own learned the concept of like, oh, there's this thing called racism. Oh, my friend is something called black. It is apparently cool that I am not black and my friend is black and that this is a mixed race friendship. He's the one who said to me, you know, like, do not trust any videos, Mom, where they say like or subscribe, you know, if you love your parents. They are trying to manipulate you. When he signed up for the ability to comment and he could ban people, I started getting all these notifications of like, thank you for your report. And like, why are we reporting this? And it's like, oh, well, they're trying to manipulate their audience. You know, they are doing this thing and that thing that is just clearly trying to prey on children. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, like, you're reporting when they say false facts. You're reporting when they're trying to force people to subscribe. Okay, I can get on board with this. You know, for a while, my daughter was watching things and suddenly was down the Jesus rabbit hole where suddenly everything was about, and like, Jesus loves you. And I had to say, no Jesus videos. The child safety things do not filter for trying to convert your child's religion. So that's why it's good as a parent to pay attention. But my larger point is this. If you want your kids to listen to you, if you want them to connect with you, then you have to listen to them and you have to be interested in what they are interested in. You know, when I remember as a kid, the joke at the dinner table was my dad had 2 responses to everything. His response was either, that's because he loves you're beautiful, dear, or that's because he likes you, dear. And no matter what the story, so you could say things like, I was at school today and I tripped on the curb and I fell into a trash can and I was covered in banana peels and was disgusting. And the answer would be, that's because you're beautiful, dear. Or you could say like, I had this crazy experience. We were doing this school project and I had to do everything. And like the 3 other girls who were supposed to do stuff just put everything on me and it was really sucky. And his answer would be, that's because he likes you, dear. And so like, it never felt like he listened to anything I said. So there wasn't really a point in talking to him. And like my mom was like way cooler about supporting our anime habit, and sometimes she would like some of the same stuff we watched. She even showed some of the anime to her own students because she was a teacher. On the other hand, like I still remember this being this really important part of Sailor Moon. There was this transformation and we're all sitting there enraptured, and she walks in the room and her response is like, who's the naked chick? It's like, oh, Mom, not way to ruin the moment. And like, yeah, as parents, we are kind of cringe. And like when I play Roblox with my kids, like I am really bad. Like it took me over a year to stop just like falling off of bridges and stairs in, what was it, that game? It was something Tycoon. I know it's very popular and probably everyone watching is like, you mean the one that everyone plays? Yes, that's exactly the one I mean. I was really bad at that. But then my son and I found Kaiju Paradise, and he got a free private server. And so I actually got training wheels, and it became this really cool experience for us to sit down and play a little bit of Kaiju Paradise every night. And so, deepening your bond by sharing your kids' hobbies then allows you to say like, hey, this is something that I enjoy. Do you want to try it too? And do they say like yes all the time? No, not necessarily. But they listen to me and they feel close to me. And, it's hard to say at 8 and almost 11 where this is going to lead. But I expect as they become teenagers that they will continue to be more open to telling me what goes on in their lives. And that is rather the point. And it's easy, like with friends, like, well, you become friends with somebody because you have things in common with them. And, there's this idea like your children, well, I'm genetically related to them, so I should have things in common. They should like what I like. But it really doesn't work that way, especially that generations, what we grow up with, what we're inundated with, is so completely different. And it is the responsibility for us, the parents, to be into what they're into, that we should go into their world, because how are we going to guide them in growing up, in making good decisions, in understanding things that confuse them, if we can't see things from their perspective? That we need to see the world through their eyes in order to guide them to becoming successful adults. Because if the parents aren't there, if the parents don't understand, then it's the kids, or it's the YouTube channel, or it's goodness knows what other things are going to influence them instead. But we have the ability, by connecting with our children on this basic level of just having interests in common, that can really make us as closer and a major influence in their lives. And right, that's the whole purpose of having kids, is to share with them everything that's wonderful in the world and raise them to be citizens who create a better world than we came from. That, this is Tikkun Olam, the whole concept that we should leave the world better than we found it. And we do that through raising children to be people who want to create a better world. But that starts with connection, that starts with a bond. And the coolest part of it is yeah, maybe you would not think that what you'd be doing on your afternoon is playing Dress to Impress. Maybe this is something like you never considered you'd be doing. And yet you can learn so many cool things from it. And suddenly you have a chance to see the world through your children's eyes. And I think it's beautiful. I think there's nothing more beautiful than the way that we lead our children, but also that our children broaden our horizons, be it that with their toddlers and suddenly you realize that the mall is an amazing place because it's just endless places you can walk, and you don't have to have your parents saying, watch out for the car, watch out for the giant dog, watch out for the bear, if you're somewhere rural, of course. And then, as they get older, that it's not just all this like, no, that this is like, yes, let's do this together. Let us explore together. So for every parent out there who says, I don't like the music my kid listens to, like, I'm not into this weird anime stuff or whatever their hobby is, like, even if, I don't know, they're really obsessed with different types of pasta, listen to your kid. Join them in their hobbies. Be able to discuss it on a deep level, because not only will it broaden your horizons, but it makes you closer. And, you know, these are the people you love most in the whole world. So why wouldn't you want to be as close to them as possible, right? Okay, by the way, I should say, like, this is actually a challenge I'm trying, that since everybody in my house is a YouTuber except for me, I said, okay, for a month, I'm gonna do a YouTube video every day. And my son says, never trust somebody who threatens you to like or subscribe. So I'm not gonna say you should, but I'd love some feedback. If this was a totally boring video, please tell me. If you know ways I could do better, I'd love to hear it. If you have suggestions for what topic I should do next, that would also be cool. But anybody who just randomly found me, thank you for watching this, and have a good day, night, or whatever time it is and whatever time zone you're in. My apologies for all the awkwardness. I took this in only 2 takes. Signing out. Bye.